Wowwy'z Workshop. Brought to you by Two Brothers, One Vision.
Well, hello, my friends and fam. How we doing, guys? Welcome back to the workshop. And I'm going to get right to it. Time is precious, and I'm not here to waste yours, all right? So let's get right to it. The next watcher, if you guys aren't familiar with this, please watch the Watcher series. There's 4 videos for the last one that we did. And this little lady is going to be the next one. Now, it's a natural knot. And so I chopped it off there. And as you can see in the side there, I've already started carving her face. Carved all this away and then left it, made it a neck in there. And so she's going to be holding holding the light, holding the love. This is going to be a light fixture. It's going to hold an LED bulb in it, so it's not going to heat up. I found this here. This is a base that I think my brother scored at like a free pile, which people do out here in Canada, which is awesome because you can find really, really cool wood scores. My wife hates driving by them because I'm just like, stop the car, man. Stop the car. But anyways, got this base. Gonna use that because this is, as you can see, it's not the most sturdy little lady. But that's gonna be the base there. And then I plan to do some different moss type fixture. So I have some static grass, then I have some other realistic looking stuff. I'm going to layer down some of the artificial moss first and then do static grass over it, and the two combined makes this really, really funky kind of look. So that's the plan with this next project, guys. I'll get you out of the camera and give you a little bit better view and of the products that I'm going to use quick. Alrighty, guys, here we are in the creation station. Happy place, happy place. Good times always. So, after thinking about this, rather than I was going to do this crazy thing with the 2-part epoxy and then use this thing to pour into this thing and then into the crack, I realized that I have Starbond. I have Starbond glue, and it has a pretty good small little end that I can get in there, and they actually have even smaller ones that you can do, like a little extender tip. That's hard to see, but I think that's more for the fine, because Starbond has thin glue to really, really get in there far. But I'm going to try and see if this works and just use the Starbond gap filler thick, because after I use it, I have this Starbond accelerator, and then this dries super glue instantly. So I'll have the thick in there, the gap filler in the crack, and then I'll hit it with the hardener. And then we'll see about the next step with going in with the PC woody to finish the cracks so that they match the wood tone. All right, that's what we're doing here, guys. We got the Starbond in those cracks as much as I want to anyways, and they are that with the hardener, with that instant accelerator, it is hard. I am hitting it and testing it, so I like that. The fact that you can harden it so instantly, yep, that just works a treat. Okay, so now I'm going to make up a little bit of this PC woody and fill in the little bit of cracks that I can with the wood grain, with the wood tone, I should say. Okay. do this. Okay. So yeah, mind you, it has to dry, and then I give it the old light sand, and then I can sand away any of that extra stuff that's on there. But while it's the cracks are filled and it's hardening, you need to leave it on there, not mess with it too much. But you see how smooth I got it in there? People will say, so how did you get that so smooth? Oh, it's a little touch of wowie. Yeah, well, I get that, but how you get it so smooth? No. What you guys haven't been seeing when I'm in the time lapse is that I'm licking my fingers and wiping it, so it's literally a little touch of wowie. Bing. Okay. So, after that all hardens, we will continue on and get this little lady lit up and shining her shine. Talk to you all real soon. Much love. There is no YouTube without you. Thank you. Little touch of wowie. What a beautiful day. Now let's see how our project's going. Everybody sing together now.
Oh, where can I go to power carve? Make a few bucks so the vets don't starve. It's out in the creation station, a private place to make my art. Shed a few tears and curse and fart. It's out in the creation station. Enter at your own risk, my friends.
Oh, yes. Creation station. Here we are, guys. It is the next day. And our little lady has been hardening. All the spots so far look like everything is hard as, I won't say rock, but it's pretty darn hard. And I just noticed that there's a spots, those little tiny cracks in there that go downwards. I should have filled those, but I can still do that. Oh, there's always possibilities. Always possibilities. Now, I've been thinking about it all morning, guys, and I think that because there's all these touch-ups and stuff, and rather trying to stain it and then using paint to blend it, and my goodness, I have some really cool spray paint that is this strange teal green. But when you add moss and stuff to it, it looks really nice. And it also, if you do like a little hit, a light hit, I was thinking of gold, possibly touches of little spray paint, just so it has some sparkle to it. And then the copper face with the green. I think that'll really be awesome. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do her. And just see where it goes. So I'm going to do some nice and light sanding, sorry, and get her ready for some color. Here we go. Time to do it to it. Sorry, I should also say I'm gonna go along here and just make sure with my ram carver all the way up to 45 with this little tiny here diamond. diamond coated burr bit. I'm going to go up in here just to make sure that there's a really strong separation, so that when it's painted and then the gold with the copper leaf in there, it can go underneath so there is no edges visible. So you know how I am about that stuff. Alrighty, that's what I'm doing. Break there. I had to recover, and then I had to make some special videos for some folks in our tribe. And I actually was hurt for one day. But let me tell you, nestle up close, kids. It's story time. So, I've always been a dancer. Always loved to dance, and I, started off as a little kid. You're doing stuff, you're doing the moonwalk and stuff, and the Michael Jackson things, and then I got into breakdancing. I had a friend, Trevor, and we would go and break dance, and we even graffitied all the cardboard. Went down to the mall, laid out our artwork. We breakdanced in the mall, Grand Prairie, Alberta. Nobody else was doing it, but I didn't care because I loved to dance. Then we get into school, and then there was like, you'd have your dance lessons in school, which I took seriously. So I learned to two-step and do the do-wop and dop and all of that stuff. And then the school dances I took very seriously. Always showed up in a new outfit, ready to get down. I love to dance. Learned a two-step, and then I got into the bar days, and I learned that, hey, if you're a good two-stepper, well, let me have a girl, dude. They would love to dance, so they pick you up, feed you a couple drinks, because they knew you're gonna dance. And you knew you're gonna dance, and sometimes you knew you're gonna do other things, but we're not talking about that right now. Okay. So, I've always been that way. It's a freedom that it's hard to explain, but I love feeling it, right? But since my injury, that frigged that up pretty good. But I still have to have my brief moments, because I do feel free. Even for 10 seconds, I feel free, right? And it can hurt me. So this last time, I went out there, I did my little thing, could barely walk for a day. I was like laid out flat. So that's where I was. And that's my story. Wow. Jeez, kind of not a very happy ending, was it? But people have said, wow, why you dance? Why dance? Tough guys don't dance. You know what I said? This one does. This one does. Okay. Back to it. And here we go, folks. For one of my favorite parts of the show, and that is the spread. That's right, it is the tool spread. Let me switch you over here. And see what I've done here is this is the base that we're going to use. I figured out the best spot for it, and I made a pencil. Sorry if that's hard to see, the pencil line there, but it's on there. Bottom of the watcher. Now, there's various ways you can go about getting that out, but my idea is that these, my friends, are Forester bits, drill bits, and these are spade drill bits. Now, we are going with the Forester. Why? Because the Forester, you see, it has that little pokey in the middle, but it isn't as extreme as the spade bit. We don't want it going through the bottom. We want to take enough out that we can get this in there and glue it in and sturdy. it'll be drilled all the way through in the middle for the cord, right? So my idea is we're going to take this one, the biggest one they got, and then work our way around the circle and take out as much material as we can with the Forester bit. The thing I like about this is that it's, what would that be? Just over a 1/2 inch thick. But you can use the bit itself as your guide. So I'm going to make it like I'll sink it in so that it's flush, and then pull her back, and that'll be how I guide it, so that the bottom is hopefully, you know, as level as I can make it. But it's not going to be perfect. But I'm going to put it in my drill press. And I can even set the drill press, like as you go down with the drill press, you can even set them so that they only go down a certain amount. But that's what we're doing. So I'm going to get you next set up so that you can see me in the drill press. So I'm just going to go as deep, like I said, go as deep into there as I need to, and make my way around and see how this goes. That isn't gonna work. The drill press isn't strong enough. Alrighty then. That failed just quite miserably. But hey, onward and upward, like the Eagles. So what did I do? I put her in the DeWalt. This thing can break your wrist if you're not careful, this bad boy. So I put the Forester bit in that, pin this thing between my feet, and you can see I got the 4 main ones, and then I went and got the existing stuff out, and I just bogged it out with these Kutzall Sphere original, the large one, and this is a Kutzall taper, or I mean a Flame Extreme taper. That's the Flame Extreme. And then this is just like aluminum or metalworking burrs, and then I went in there and I've been cleaning it all up and stuff. But after a bit of swearing and work there, she's getting, that's how it was, there we go. She's getting to where we need to be, guys. And because the hole isn't like perfectly filled around, like you guys, that's gonna be filled with glue. I'm gonna be doing some flocking. I'm gonna be doing some static grass and moss going up her. She's gonna be painted. You're not gonna notice that. This is a forest watcher. And remember, her face is going to be in copper. Her face will be in copper leaf and holding her bulb, her light. So that's where we are, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Well, hello. Moving right along here. I got one of my favorite Christmas Chewbacca shirt on. Soft. I don't care if it isn't Christmas. It's always Star Wars. Okay. Feeling a bit better, so I'm back in here, gonna continue on. Before I get too far, I have to carve the hole through the base that'll line up with that hole so that the power cord can be put through, because this is a light up art piece, a light piece. I know how it likes to sit in here, how I kind of carved it, right? It sits in here a certain way. I line up a little nub with a knot that's going there. And that's how I know it's right in the optimal position. So I want the hole in there to be right perfect. I'm gonna roll some paper up so that it fits in there just nice in Kentucky. And then it'll just be poking out a little bit. I'll put a little tiny bit of black paint in there, and then I can slide it in, and it'll make the perfect little mark there. That's the plan. That's the plan, man. And I know that I can just, but I don't want it to be off, have the wire kinked or have to go in a, you know what? I've done enough weird art that I can kind of foresee things, and I don't want to go there. You don't want to cause yourself more grief, right? So either that or I'm just, if that's the case, and you're with me, because we're all, okay, time to do it to it. And like I mentioned before, folks, I do not want to waste anybody's time, so I'm going to speed this little part up here. You don't need to hear me repeat myself. But yeah, got it in there nice and snug, and little dab will do ya. And there we are, folks. Yes, the sweet, sweet sound of success. And it just makes me worry less, you know? Wow. And you know what? Some might say, what a waste of time. Well, it took me one Metallica song. One of their longer songs, mind you, to make the plug. And then plus I'm like screwing around and trying to record. So it was one song, and now we're good to go. So we will do that. Attention all passengers. We've had a brief pause in production due to a very stupid move by Mr. Wowwy here. But have no worries. Grab a refreshment, a bathroom break, because the kid is back and the saga continues. Oh, hello. I hadn't seen you come in. Creeper. I'm just kidding. It's been a minute. An actual root-tootin' minute. Okay. When we last spoke, I was drilling this out, working on it with DUIT here. We got this is the sanding head here, but I went back in there with the Forester bit, and I did all this being bent over, like when you bend over to touch your toes. I was doing it like that on my stump step. Okay. The little tiny drill press wasn't doing the job, so I was peed off, and I was already in an aggro mood because my tools weren't working. So I'm using the extra strong drill, okay, with that dull Forster bit, and I was bent over like that and jigging and jarring because this is a strong drill. Bent over like that, and it's in between my boots, and I'm ripping and roaring. I don't know if I ripped my original injury. My injury is that I exploded my L3 disc, okay? It bloop, all of it was, I tried to lift something so heavy. So trying to lift something that's so heavy, like 300 plus pounds, and not letting go and trying to get it up on some scaffolding, well, all of that weight goes to right there. That's like the pivot point. And there was so much weight that it overtook my capability. And my disc exploded completely. It wasn't just a herniated disc. Now, the doctor, the head of the rehab that does all the rehab for the insurance and stuff, he said he was the head of the rehab place, and he said it was the worst example of a herniated disc he had seen in all of his years. Lucky LaRue, okay? So that's the L3. That's right where you're bent over. So doing that completely messed me up. Completely messed me up. It was so scary because I didn't know if this was my new norm. And I had to hide it from Katie, but the first couple of days, man, just walking, it was like, it took your breath away. The pain was so hard, and couldn't go to the bathroom, couldn't do nothing. Even just lying there flat just was in agony. So when I say, guys, look after your back, holy jeez. I mean it truthfully from the bottom of my heart and soul. It's like the most important place in your body. Oh, but I'm back. Wow, he's back. What's in the bag? Onward and upward like the Eagles. Sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry about that, but if I don't talk about it, who knows what'll happen. Ready rod. I'll put you guys in the overhead so you can actually see what I'm doing, because it's kind of pointless. And yeah, I found this universal advanced formula metallic paint and primer in one. Any surface, fast drying, rust preventive. Wood, metal, plastic, masonry. It's a turquoise with a sparkle. Now, what is funny is that I have like 3 different paints here that I was going to combine, starting with a teal green, flat teal green, no gloss, and then I was going to lightly hit it with like shades of brass spray paint and keep on layering it until it was like, you know, kind of a turquoise with a sparkle. And then I was at the home hardware, and good golly Miss Molly, we got turquoise with a little glimmer, just what like while it was. This is gonna make my whole cloak, the whole cloak painting so much easier. Okay, oh my goodness, if you're still with me here, you're a strong soul. God bless you. God bless you. Yeah, just these little hangers I don't even need for this project, but see that? You could screw it into something on the top and then have a hanging loop brass finish. That's the E12 chandelier socket. And then this stuff, Permsite 2-ton epoxy, Permatex. And then this is 1/4 inch by 1 foot of ready rod, threaded ready rod. Then here, this is the lamp post that I'm also going to have up here to help with stability and just with the running of the wire. But there's the area that did me. Okay, so I also did this the day that I got hurt, and it's actually not in completely up, so I'm going to redo this in the drill press just to see, like, because the drill press will go straight up and down, so however long it takes, just to make sure that I can get this thing completely up and down too. I don't want this to throw off the vertical aspect of the piece. And plus, we're going to be doing these ready rods in tiny sections that go into the base and into the bottom of this. All right, that's where we're at. Well, alrighty now. So what I did is I started with the old 332. Okay, went to the 1/8, then up to the 1164. Then from the 1164 back to the 732. Okay, at the 732 we get to the 1/4, and the 1/4 is the ready rod ready. See, bing 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 bing, bong. And I tried to level this the best it could be, but with the bottom I got this, so this is perfectly up and down, right? And then used the little bubble on my DUIT drill on the back there. Sorry for the camera. On the back, that there is just a little leveling bubble. So if this baby ain't straight, that's DUIT's fault, and then you owe me another light piece. Okay, onward we go. Okay guys, well, got the ready rod chopped, and I just put some duct tape on the bottom there, so I got to epoxy them in, but I got the ready rod in there. Good to go. These are all drilled. So now, this is the make or break, you guys. This is the make or break. So let me see if I can get in a better, because I haven't done this yet. Just like that. Mind you, I still have to do it when I do it and put the lamp pipe in. But just knowing that the ready rod portion worked and everything was lined up, it's a happy wow right there. Bing a bing a ding ding ding. Okay, I have to get inside and do some stuff with the wife, so I'm happy with that. I am very happy. Talk to you guys soon. Okay. So we got the name burnt in, and now I've done little tiny pilot holes for each of the feet. You can see I got maybe you can see that there's circles on there. That's where I laid it out, and then I put the duct tape over the holes there for when we glue in the ready rod. So I like to use this Gorilla. It's permanent bond, clear grip Gorilla glue, and it's this stuff that you do 2 parts, kind of like that old school contact cement from back in the day, and you just leave it so it just gets a little bit tacky. So I'll put a little bit there, and I put a little tiny bit around the base of where that little nail is, and then when I push them on, I just know that it's going to be on there forever, even though there is a nail. And we've already gone over why, like that, we all know that I overdo things and have accepted that. If not, you've, peace be with you. But yeah, I overdo things, and this is just what I'm doing. So I'm just showing, like, even the dumb things that I do, I'm sharing the journey of the project with you. That's what this is all about. And then the ultimate goal is that you try to do one on your own. That's the ultimate goal, is to try and inspire. Okay, here we go. And on to the next step quickly. The 2-ton epoxy. Just going to use the packaging to mix it. This was kind of cool. This little thing here, they called it a paddle. It was in between there to mix. But yeah, you have to give it a really, really good mix. Comes out in 2 different sides. And then that little part on the end there, that's so you can plug it. So you don't have to use it all at once, right? But yeah, I'm going to do the ready rod so everything is ready, and then this has to be paint ready before I glue it onto the base. Okay, enough. Okie dokie, moving right along, guys. I've been using this little thing here. I got that from DUIT. I'm going to try and buy more, but it's just basically like a fine, like it would be a fine cut saw, but it goes to a very, very sharp point. I love this thing. So I've been going up and down and up and down in there. Let me just put this down. Sorry. Because you know how I am about the edges. And then I was thinking about it, and because I'm going to have a base coat of copper paint on this, I'm going to paint that now. Because this is going to be all taped off. This is going to be painted with its greens and everything. And then at the very final stage, I put the copper leaf on. For its own reasons, but you don't want to, it's the most delicate part, right? So you don't want to muck it up. So when that time comes, I'll be taping off the green, the finished cloak, to do the copper leaf. So many steps. But yeah, because I can get in there right now, and if I hit this edge with the copper paint, who cares? I'll take it off with the... So yeah, that was kind of a good idea. So I'm going to paint that copper right now. Sorry for all of that. Alrighty, folks, we are just moving along now. After all that injury and crap is all done now, get this bad boy. But you know what? Oh yeah, as always, Larry has added yet another touch. I was going to get ready to glue it in there, and then I started thinking about it. There's this weird schmiggy spot there. It's an old knot and something, but it looks like they might have even repaired it. Sorry, I got you in the wide angle because I'm digging the wide angle, Terry Gilliam styles. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to come out in here and make one here, make a slight one here and one in here. I'm going to make a track. Why am I doing this? Boot. Boom. I got me 4 pounds of epoxy sculpt. I also use this stuff for our electroform jewelry making. And I was thinking about it. I needed this stuff anyways. Other stuff dried up. So when the watch is glued in, the transition is going to be rounded because of this. And it's going to have little roots come out. And so I have to carve with a big carbide cutter ball, a track that this stuff is going to go in, so the edges of this aren't, you know how I am about edges. So it could be a very deep track, but enough that it'll hide the edges. That's what's happening. Ain't no turning back now, man. Can't stop what's coming. Moving right along. Hey now, what have you done, Wowie? It's probably what most of you guys are thinking. But believe me, this weird, deformed maple leaf, hey, that's kind of like a hidden Canada, eh? But think of it this way. Each one of these is a root going into the ground. So it's going to go up the body. And now the transition, instead of just bang, bang with a, now we got more organic flow. Believe me, I've been doing it in my head for months. months now. This is gonna work. Okay, now it's time to do the two-part epoxy. Put this baby together so then we can go into the final painting and finishing stages. Let's do this. Guys, let's see a little. We're getting her so close, guys. We're getting her so GD close. So that is in there, epoxied, 2 ton. So once that dries, I'll be using the Epoxy Sculpt and doing the transition and the roots, and then. Oh man, this is a mouthful. To complete it, it's going to be painted, spray painted. It's also going to have flocking, green flocking mixed with static grass to make the moss. So, and alrighty folks, here we are in the homestead. The wife is not home yet, so I'm going to do this as fast as possible. I'm just kidding. She's pretty cool with that kind of stuff. But I'm going to be recording, so she won't want to be on camera. But I got my 2-part epoxy, part A, part B. What can I say about this? Don't cross-contaminate. Use separate tools, mix well, and do it with gloves. Because the oils on your skin doesn't do well with this stuff. You want to make it harden as best as possible. And here for another installment of the spread. The Toolz spread, guys. I can't tell you where I got these. Can't really remember. Look at all those, that's like dentist ones. And then here are more of the ones, that's silicone tip ones. And I know I got these off Amazon. Yeah, I know. More Amazon crap, but these are actually a really handy set. So, and here is the washer. And look at, all glued in and with the spaces carved for the epoxy sculpt to create the roots. All coming together. There was method to all this madness, and having him come in here and sit nice and flat on a flat surface, looks just great. Well, this isn't a flat surface, but it's looking great. Looking great. Okay, guys, so I got my little mushroom, pink. I got my wackadoo cat, who is always in everything. Say hi, Loli. Hey, Noni. Okay, I'm gonna set up, get in the old thing here, and let's do some time lapse. Let's play with some epoxy. Back in the day, silly putty and Play-Doh and all that stuff. All that good stuff. Let's do it. Magically transformed into the next day. Actually, it's the day after the next day, guys. The next day I came down and looked at it, was gonna start taping it off for paint, and then I thought, I wish there was more here, and I was looking back here and I'm like, I wish I had. And I looked over at the jar of Epoxy Sculpt. So I'm not gonna wish. So I added more in here, I gave it an S line in that root. More, it looks better now, believe me. Before, the little roots just looked like it was just too subtle for when you stood back and really look at the piece. So I didn't want to be wishing. So here we are, and I am now going to tape it up, and let's get it ready for the first layer of the base coat of its cloak paint. Whew, that's a mouthful. Do it. And with the magic of movies, people, we are all ready to go. Magic of movies. I don't even know what that means, but I didn't want to bore you with all that snipping and sticking. So I got her to the point where I'm happy with it. I went OCD on it all around the edges, so you know, wouldn't be any other way if Wowie didn't go OCD on it. And then we'll see. We'll see if I've made drastic, poor choices, or when she's all painted and blended, if Wowie's vision was right all along. We're gonna see. Whether I muck it up or not, we're gonna see. What a beautiful day. Good morning, guys. It's paint day. Got it all taped up and ready to go, and whoa, what's going on here? Well, I laid there all night, guys, and thought about the upcoming paint day, and I thought about the transitions and the lines, and I thought, no, until I feel like that is like 100% on point, I'm not going to paint this bad boy. I didn't want to bother you guys with more steps. This has gone on long enough, and I know that, but this is Meraki. This is what happens when you put your love into it. So what did I do? I used these Kutzall balls. Sorry for the camera work. Went in there and just made the flow lines so that it looked like the roots transition into the body. That's all. And now, I swear, I mean it this time, it's time to paint. Let's get all set up in the yard. Okay, well, with the help of these three, this was my base, and I went with the sparkly turquoise, and then I went and hit it with light strokes of this copper. This is a really good metallic. It's kind of like copper leaf. Anyways, that's what I did. Remember, when I first started, I wanted this watcher to look like she's a dryad, a magical thing that's growing out of the ground, part of the forest. Now it is super bright out here, but she's got just the perfect amount of green and then a copper sheen. Believe me, this is a couple different layers. And next will be flocking and static grass to blend the stump. This is all going to be wood still, so we're going to blend grass going from the base and up the sides and stuff. Oh man, been quite the day already. I promise it's not that blue. It's way more green. I'll get it into different light. Frickin' Christmas morning here, guys. Oh. Okay, now. So you got a little kind of bit of overspray there onto the meat, but there's gonna be grass. And there's gonna be moss. So you're not gonna see those things. Ooh. All right. Well, base is looking dope. Let's see how the next bit goes. Oh, there's the first edge. Looking good. Looking good. Oh. Okay, I'll get this done. I think that's looking pretty darn good there, guys. This here, I can see that the tape took a little bit of this black stain, but oh, that's just a touch up. I can see one little spot in there, but you know what? I'm being a goddamn picking nitpicker. Cause that looks pretty deep. I'm really happy with it so far, guys. Now I wish I had spent more time with the epoxy sculpt, but live and learn. This is going to be covered in grass, so it's the forest watcher. Yes. Now it's time to get flocking. That's right, folks, we're flocking. We're flocking today. We're gonna paint it on in little tiny kind of veins here and there. Maybe a little pool of moss here. The flock is suede, powdered suede. You put on the paint and then you put it in the pumper, which you'll see me do in time lapse or whatever I do here. And then you pump the powder onto the paint. I got into flocking because I like to put it on the bottom of my gnomes. Especially like we have a couple gnomes in a gallery, and so you really want to do them up nice. So I burn the name in the center and then have a flock bottom around it. Pretty cool. But today we're using it to make little veins of moss. I'm going to try and cover the spots that I don't really like where the epoxy meets the wood. And then after that, we do this. We're going to glue down sections, little pieces of this stuff. This stuff, the paper comes off, you glue it down. And then with the third and final thing that I'm doing to this is called static grass. And that's a mossy-like thing. Well, it's grass for, you know, like people that make train tracks and models. So this here, I glued some of it down like this, and then I put static grass over it. And it's all been slammed down now, but static grass stands up from the static reaction that happens when you apply it. And you see that? Like you can kind of see that moss down in there, but it just looks, that looks like freaking forest floor. And that is what we're going for. So, we're going to flock some moss veins today. Let that dry for 10 hours. I'm going to paint, pump. Turn it, paint, pump. I'm going to put some garbage bag down and try and catch as much as you can in the end. But yeah, this is my sucking box, right, for my carving, and then I got my shop vac underneath there. So I'm not too worried about how much flock gets around. I'll just clean up good after. We're going onward and upward like the eagles. Let's do it. Let's get flocking. Okay, so first, you fill up your hopper. Oh yeah, and you spill a bunch on there. Fill up your hopper, you stir your paint, and you stir that paint good, because the thicker and the deeper green it is, the better. So I'm going to get this in, put it on some time lapse so I don't waste any more time, and we're going to do her. We're going to do her. went a little something like that. Hit it. Well, guys, it's on there. I put that spinny dinny, and then I just went around and made it grow up. Puff, paint, 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 puff, 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 paint, 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 puff, puff, puff. And I am happy with that first application. I don't know if I'll do more flocking. I think that might be enough. Just a little touch, right? But we won't be able to see there's still lots on there, obviously. So tomorrow you come, you blow it all off, sweep it all off with a special. And then that's when you get to see her in all her flocking glory. Okay, see you tomorrow. You just get it all to go into the center there, and then you snip a little hole and put it back into the plastic bag for when sticking. And we are zooming along, folks. We are zooming along. So this morning I went around and cut the moss sections, and now they're all laid out. And I have to go in and glue them all now. Now this is gonna be the part, sorry about light, that might be a bit better. This is the part of the transition where it's kind of like, oh my goodness, what the heck have I done, right? But it's because this is the base and the static grass is the final touch. I was just thinking about it. After I glue this down, I'm going to copper leaf her face. The static grass will be the actual, I may even wire her. And then static grass is the actual, like the end thing, because I don't want to mess with it after that's done, and it can all just dry and be. So I'm gonna glue these down, and then we will go copper leaf interface. And don't forget, I gotta say this, I'm gonna be using the Star Bond, guys. This stuff is really, really cool. I got the thick, really strong stuff, and it's slow curing. So we got the accelerator. You put this stuff on the bottom, get it all ready, spray it 2 times with this, and then bang, and she's on. I tested it on this, and that shit ain't going nowhere. Sorry. I'm gonna have to ding that somehow. Where are you going? Nowhere. Where are you going? Nowhere. All right. And there we go. There we go. So that is the base. All of the base of the foliage. So, one step closer to the completed vision, guys. We'll just keep on ticking along here. I guess it's gonna be time for copper leaf. Stand by. Pisces indeed, through and through. Both brothers are. Hello! Here we are, moving right along. Now, I've went through, cleaned up any little weird spots, and I know those edges look hard, but remember, static grass is coming. The final step. And that hides a lot of that stuff. This is sort of a foundation. Okay, you know you're this far. So next, I am going to copper leaf the face. This is some higher quality stuff. I'm gonna rip it all into little pieces, put it in this bag, mix it all up. When you do it that way, instead of trying to do it like the perfect sheet over something, this way all in little pieces is a better way to not throw the eye off of something. Trying to get things perfect can sometimes bite you in the butt. I got this stuff. It's the first time trying it. I read through it. It says to add 10% to 20% water to your amount. So you put in how much you're going to use, and then you put a 1/10 of water in there and mix the crap out of it. There's a varnish. Sometimes I don't use the varnish because it'll take away the shininess. It's a bit of a matte. So we'll see. If it needs the shininess to be calmed down, we varnish it. Calm the frick down there, shininess. Okay. Alrighty, I got it mixed up to the 10% that I asked for. Ripped up my copper foil. That'll be more than enough for this surface area, I hope. If not, we'll figure it out. So with these really, really nice, I got a super fine one to get up and underneath that lid there. I'll get this stuff on, and it says to leave it an hour before you apply to get its optimal tackiness. Okay. Do it to it. Next, I will gently lay that down. I have this very, very nice soft fan brush. Just gently brush it down. And I've just been finessing and fussing and tapping and touching, and then like going it in there and getting it in there, and then I blow it out. And try and blow it away from the base so it's not getting those little tiny bits of that stuff in the moss. And here we are, guys. I've been doing some taping here this morning, checking, testing the cord, getting things all ready for the final static grass. And how about that copper leaf on the face there, guys? Well, let me just say, the whole reason that I insisted on doing this was about catching the light. And the faces, they had faces of fire, faces without features, faces of fire, the watchers, and tales of old, sentinels, guardians. That's why they don't have faces. And look at that. I wanted the light to be able to play with it. Well, I got that. I'm very happy. Okay, I've taped it up. I want the static grass to bleed over on certain sides, but not everywhere. Just another added little touch. I'm going to tape up a little bit of the spots here that I have to go on the sides. So I'm just going to do a little bit of tidying up before any static grass gets applied. Okay. And this is the company where I got the static grass set up. This is the special applicator. I call it the magic wand because it's static grass time, kids. On the sprayer. We're so close to being finished. So, this is static grass. You start in the smallest, the 2mm, then you go up in length, 4mm, 6mm, you can go up to 10mm. You can add little bunches of flowers and stuff that they make. Just imagine, you know, the model train makers and all of the model makers and stuff. This is the kind of thing that they use for all of their stuff. We're just cross-fusing it into wood spirits and gnomes and all of that stuff. So, what you do is you put the spray down, a really, really tacky spray. It's like, you know, glue and water basically, but you spray that down, and then you, using your wand, you turn it on, you put it in the hopper, and you shaky while holding this clip close by. This creates these special fibers. This isn't just, you know, just powder. It's special magnetic or whatever fibers in it that stand up from the static reaction. Now, I have made, when I first got this, I made a video. I put that at the end of this movie because I have a spot there and I usually don't know what to put. So I'll put the static grass at the end, and then let's just do it to it, folks. We're doing it to it. Ready? So it's spray, and then shake. Spray, spray, spray. Shake, shake, shake. My nozzle is obviously needs to be clean. So we're just going to fix this up a bit. And we're going to go clean that. Creating on live, man. You just don't know what's going to happen, folks. It is the next day, and I am freaking happy with that. You guys, I always wanted it to look like kind of like the overgrown forest that she's coming out of that. And that's what I got. Now, all of that flocking work, probably shouldn't have done it, but I wouldn't have known. And I love how it ends up looking in the end. So maybe if I hadn't done the flocking and stuff, whoops, it wouldn't look this like how it does. So I'm not gonna think about those kinds of things. I'm just gonna love it for how it's looking. I am gonna hit the bark with a little bit of Hellsman just to give it a rich finished look. But yeah, I'm so stoked, man. Look at it. The magical enchanted dryad of the forest. Okay, next I will tape up the end of the wires there to this copper wire that I've pulled through. And the standards say black is hot. That's just kind of like how you're supposed to go by, so I'm going by that. And with this light, I welcome you. And with her copper leaf amulet, which represents grow, the dryad's way of honoring the Creator, for nature is their religion. And her candle, the fires of hope, ever burning and forever safe. And she is of the Watchers, faces of fire. They are guardians, sentinels. in closing, we would like to sincerely thank each and every one of you for taking this journey with us. Man, oh man, has it ever been one. There is no YouTube without you. Always remember that. And never let go of hope. Much love.